I was a witness to the Tancredo protest. I was standing outside the building. And really what I saw that day is I saw the Department of Public Safety and this university not truly standing up for the safety of students on this campus.
My name is Ben Carroll, and I'm a student activist here at UNC. Now, our plans for the demonstration were to march through Bingham Hall one time and hold a rally outside. And we were prevented from doing that by the campus police, who blocked us in the hallway and then used that opportunity to attack us. A number of students were thrown and ejected from the classroom and thrown across the hall in Bingham. Lieutenant Twitty was one of the officers who violently threw people out of the auditorium and into walls. Campus police trapped us in the hallway and directly sprayed 8 to 10 students in the face with pepper spray and then threatened students with tasers.
One concern that we have is the drastic amount of misinformation that has been circulated throughout the media regarding the protest against Tom Tancredo. Numerous media reports have stated that pepper spray was used by police only after a window was broken in Bingham Hall. This is false information. The window was broken after the police used violent tactics against peaceful protesters.
Hi everyone, my name is Carlin Cowan and I'm a senior student activist here. Following the week that Tancredo came, YWC invited another speaker, Virgil Good. This time it was held at the Great Hall of the Student Union. Although many students, many community members were in the room making sounds, calling out comments, 6 people were selectively targeted and arrested. What is happening here is that the chancellor is trying to create a culture of fear among the students of the university.
I was leaving class with an honors student, Moorhead scholar, student activist, and I noticed a police officer standing in the corner of our eye, and I turned, and I saw him in the corner of my eye start going towards the student. Then I hear the student say, "What, are you serious?" And I turned around and I immediately knew something was wrong. And I said, "What is going on?" And she said, "I don't know, I'm being arrested." So she asked him, "Can you tell me why I'm being arrested, sir?" And he said, "No, I can't give you that information." I said, "Sir, can you tell me why she's being arrested? If you're arresting her, you need to let her know what she did." He said, "I can't give out that information." They tell her that there's a warrant out for her arrest, and it wasn't actually validated, it was actually pending. So they arrested her, couldn't tell her why, and they didn't have a warrant to show her at the time of arrest. As a student here at UNC, I feel like I should be protected by my university, and to know that they're actively going out and grabbing students, they're waiting for students outside of their classrooms and arresting them is ridiculous to me. I'm a young adult, I should be protected, and it's just not right. One of the last points that I want to make is how embarrassing it was for her. He was on a bike, so he said he had to walk her through campus with handcuffs on because he didn't have a car to put her in. I just ask that Chancellor Thorpe think about these things. When we signed up to go to this school, we didn't sign up for this. There was a lot of activism, there's a lot of protests. We are allowed to do this. And yes, we should tolerate free speech, but we do not have to tolerate hate speech. And we need to look at the difference between hate speech and what it's masked as. And just do your research on a lot of these people that YWC is pulling in to speak. And I just want everyone to know that it's just not right, and there'll be like fights. So,
my name is Hannah Simmons, and I'm a senior here at UNC. I was not involved in the planning of this protest. I barely even knew about it. Officer Twitty called me asking for me to come in and answer some questions. I told him I was not there, I was not involved in any shape, form, or fashion. I thought everything was said and done, and then I went to class. 2 officers came to the lab and tried to interrogate me, basically, insisting that I had lied about not being at the protest. And I said, "Excuse me, I don't know what you're talking about." They said, "Well, we have proof, we have you on videotape." I know that's a lie. I'm sure they know that's a lie, but they still tried to give me, or force me to give them information. I refused, explained my position again, and walked away. The following Thursday, when I went back to class again, that was the morning that Haley was arrested, making me very nervous to return to class, wondering if I would have another confrontation. I think it's absolutely absurd that a student would be afraid to go to their class for fear of police confrontation. And so I call on this university to stand up for its students.
We are members of the newly formed UNC Protesters Defense Committee. We are a group comprised of students and community members who felt the need to organize against the intimidation and harassment recently experienced by local activists.
We believe that this use of intimidation and harassment is part of a wider effort to silence the voices of those who took part in the recent demonstrations. Many of the people who were involved in the gathering against Tancredo have been too afraid to speak freely about their experiences, resulting in a disturbingly one-sided report of the events. This is why the UNC Protesters Defense Committee has felt the need to organize. We will not stand for a culture of fear. We will not be scared into silence. We demand that an independent body be created to investigate police conduct in order to protect activists from police brutality in the future. We demand that the charges against the student arrested yesterday and the 6 people who were arrested on Wednesday evening be dropped, and that their personal information be removed from the internet. Our hope is for a safe environment to be created that encourages rather than stifles political student involvement. We would also like to ask why it is that the DPS has gone to such lengths to target and arrest protesters at the Tancredo and Good events, but have not taken any steps to investigate the behavior of those who destroyed property and endangered the safety of other students on Franklin Street the night of the championship. Finally, we would like to remind everyone why protests were organized in the first place. The high turnout of the demonstrations indicate how passionate students, faculty, and the local community are about who should be welcomed with open arms onto our campus and who shouldn't. What are the consequences of allowing individuals like Tom Tancredo, a notorious anti-multiculturalist, as well as groups like Youth for Western Civilization to exist on UNC's campus? Should we allow groups and speakers who inspire hatred for minorities to become a part of this community? Some may not agree with certain methods carried out by individual protesters during the demonstration, but that does not mean that we should ignore what their intentions were. Their actions call for a society in which groups like the YWC and people like Tom Tancredo and Virgil Good would simply not be tolerated because their agendas are contrary to what it means to be a decent human being.
We won't stand for our university defending racists. We won't stand for the intimidation and harassment of student activists. We won't stand for it, and we're going to speak out against it.
If you are angry about what's going on this campus, speak out. Speak out. We will not be scared into silence.